Hello everyone, this is Money Mom. Welcome to the channel. One of you guys asked me a question about budgets and you kind of were wondering about it. I'm going to get right into this video and talk to you guys about, do budgets fail? Let's get right into it. Okay, one of you mentioned a comment, and it's a valid comment, is that they really don't budget, and this is the reason why. And we're going to say grocery budget. Let's say that you say, I have a $400 grocery budget a month for a family of four. Okay, so $100 per person. But let's say that for whatever reason, you have a lot of backstock and you don't need to spend that $400. So are you spending that extra money even though because you have that $400 budget? She thinks it could cause you to overspend when you might not need to spend that much. That is a valid concern. So what I did is I wrote down why I think budgets can fail and why I do set an overall budget, okay? First thing is, budgets can be restrictive. It can tell you what you can't do with your money. And so some people might find that restrictive, especially if they feel like they need something. So say someone says, hey, I'm gonna budget, $50 going out to eat a month and that's it, and they have an unexpected friend come into town and they want to go out to eat, but they're like, well, I already spent the $50, so I can't. They might feel that's too restrictive. Now the second one I've already mentioned at the beginning of the video. You set a limit, but maybe you don't need to spend that much. Well, just to let you guys know, I no longer do the $500 a month grocery budget. What I do, and I've mentioned it in a few videos, is I allot $750 for the entire month, which includes grocery, Dollar Tree, thrift store shopping, miscellaneous, so any kind of shopping basically. I even used it for a phone repair, okay? Out of town company, Sam's, pet food. It includes, just like I mentioned, overall shopping. It also includes health products, medicine, and cleaning products, household products, pet food, if I haven't said that. It includes all of that stuff in that $750. And my goal is to have leftover money, okay? Now, if I want to only spend $300 a month on groceries, that's fine. But my goal is to have leftover, and I've been good about having leftover because basically I've been able to cash flow a couple trips because of that, because I set the extra aside. So a concern, and I could see why this would be a legitimate concern. Let's say for some reason you've got a lot of backstock and you really don't need to spend $400 or $500 a month on groceries because you've got a lot of extra food. For whatever reason, maybe you were on vacation and you don't need to spend all that much money. Well, then you don't spend all that much money. You could set that money aside. You could roll it to the next month. You could use it for something else you're needing. So you don't have to spend all of that money. Now, another point that I want to add is, say someone does set aside a $400 a month grocery budget, but they find a lot of good deals and they need to go over that. I think budgets should be flexible. It shouldn't be anything set in stone. I think we all know when we're overspending, okay? I'm really good about pulling in the reins. And one thing I have to say is I've made vast improvements on very little food waste in 2025. I've been really, because I don't buy bagged produce. I don't really buy tons of fresh produce unless it's small amounts because I don't want to waste it. And I really am very cautious of how much I buy so that I don't see it wasted. And I also share my abundance with others. So that's number two. Number three, sometimes people can set unrealistic grocery or budget in general. So I've known people that are like, well, I'm going hardcore trying to pay off debt, and we used to spend, we used to spend $400 going out to eat a month, and now we're not going to go out to eat at all. Maybe cut that down to $200. We can be unrealistic. I always believe in little baby steps and making small little improvements along the way. But if we go too hardcore, we could end up burning ourselves out. Number four, many people that budget, they might not prioritize savings. They prioritize paying off debt, which is important, but I believe in making sure you got emergency savings while you're paying off debt. Okay, I think both are really important. Number five, our money changes each month. For example, you have different needs. Yes, you got your basic bills, but you could have 3 emergencies happen all at once. For example, you might need a new tire and a root canal in the same month. So things change continually, so we need to be able to adapt. Okay, basically, number one rule of budgeting: spend less than what you make. That's pretty common. And by the way, another little fun fact: 25% of Americans do have, or 25% of Americans don't have a budget. Some people find it useful, some people find it restricting. Do you have a budget? I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below. There's pros and cons to everything. You know, I'm always open to change. That's the main thing. Are we open to changing, and when we need to change? I'd love to know what you think about the topic of budgeting. That's all I have to say for now. I love you, I appreciate you, and I sure hope to see you on tomorrow morning's video. Bye, everybody.